Western Spring Television. Ours it is.
Here are the top stories of the news. The Independent National Electoral Commission says it is not contemplating postponing the 2023 general election. President Muhammadu Buhari vows to reposition the nation's economy and improve security before the end of his tenure. On the foreign scene, suspected Islamist militants kills 14 Malian soldiers in two separate attacks in the center of the country. Good afternoon and welcome to Spring News at 12 on Western Spring Television. My name is Evelyn Ohiola. The Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) says it is not contemplating any adjustment to the election timetable, let alone the postponement of the 2023 general election. INEC Chairman Professor Mahmood Yakubu stated this at the presentation of electronic copy of the 93.4 million voters registered by INEC to leaders of political parties in Abuja. Professor Yakubu said more than ever the Commission was prepared for the 2023 general elections and had now implemented 11 out of the 14 activities on schedule for the elections. He reiterated INEC's commitment to transparent, credible and inclusive 2023 general election, saying INEC would continue to take every step to protect the sanctity of the votes cast by citizens and to deal with infractions. In his response, IPAC Chairman Yabagi Sani commended INEC's efforts in ensuring that power is peacefully transferred in the country in spite of the challenges and plots by anti-democratic agents to truncate the process. Mr. Sani, who was represented by IPAC General Secretary Yusuf Dantale, said political parties were resolved to ensure support INEC, security agencies and traditional rulers for peaceful conduct of 2023 general election.
For the avoidance of doubt, the presidential election and the National Assembly elections will hold on Saturday, 25th February 2023, while governorship and state assembly elections will hold 2 weeks later on Saturday, 11th March 2023. The repeated assurance by the security agencies for the adequate protection of personnel, materials, and processes also reinforces our determination to proceed. The 2023 general election will hold as scheduled. Any report to the contrary is not the official position of the Commission.
The use of beavers and electronic transmission of voting will ensure that there won't be anything. It will discourage vote buying. It will equally discourage the issue of going to write election results from the rooms and asking officials of INEC to declare results and what before you go to court. So many things have changed. And because of that, it makes it evident there are so many efforts are in place to ensure that this will not work. But we are equally appealing to political party leaders in the country to see power belongs to God and to give it to whoever he will.
Still with the forthcoming general election, the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) has released the final list of voters that will cast their ballots in the elections, with the Northwest and Southwest having the lion's share of the 93.4 million eligible voters. The chairman of the commission, Professor Mahmood Yakubu, presented the voter register at a meeting with the leadership of 18 political parties at the commission's headquarters in Abuja yesterday. He announced that out of the 93.4 million registered voters in Nigeria, the number of registered youths is just over 37 million. According to him, Lagos leads with 7 million voters, followed by Kano with 5.9 million voters and Kaduna with 4.3 million voters. According to the figures released by the Commission, the Northwest geopolitical zone has the highest number of registered voters with 22 million voters, followed by the Southwest with 17.9 million voters. The 2023 governorship candidate of the People's Democratic Party (PDP) in Lagos State, Olajide Adediran has vowed to end what he described as the 24-year monopoly of a former governor of the state, Bola Tinubu. The PDP candidate, popularly known as Jandor, made the vow in a news chart, stating that the problem of the state is that one head has been thinking for it in the past 24 years. Jandor also accused the 2023 presidential candidate of the All Progressives Congress APC, Bola Tinubu, of removing performing governors in the state. Jandor stated that former Governor Babatunde Fashola survived an attempt to remove him in 2011 and returned for a second term. His successor, Akiwumi Ambode, couldn't survive a plot that saw him removed after a single term in 2019. The national chairman of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, Iyorchia Ayu, says the calm, articulate and brilliant man of Governor Ifeanyi Okowa of Delta State was considered for his selection as the running mate to the party's presidential candidate, Atiku Abubakar. The PDP national chairman also said aside from Okowa's disposition, the party national leadership decided to reward Delta State with the keenly contested position after the party's presidential primary in May 2022. Mr. Ayu made this known yesterday during the inauguration of the Ogeye Floating Market in Warri North local government area of the state. He further accused the All Progressives Congress APC of taking Nigeria back by 50 years and urged the people of the state to vote out the ruling APC in the forthcoming presidential election. The Catholic Bishop of Sokoto Diocese, Matthew Kuka, says no Nigerian should be undecided about the candidates to vote for in the upcoming general elections, considering the abundance of problems facing the country at present. Bishop Kuka, speaking in a news chat yesterday, argued that there should be a vigorous battle among Nigerians to overcome cynicism. He queried why anybody should be undecided about hunger, or why would anyone be undecided about the fact that there are no jobs in the country. The outspoken bishop further advised Nigerians to lower their expectations on political choices, stating that there is no such thing as the right candidate in elections, as that might be a projection of one's emotions. The senator representing Adamawa North, Elisha Abo, has said that he is still the candidate of the All Progressives Congress APC in the forthcoming general elections, despite a court ruling that sacked him as the party's flag bearer earlier in the week. A high court in Yola sacked Mr. Abo as the APC senatorial candidate in the general election, stating that he had been expelled by the party and should therefore not be recognized as such. In his response to his sacking, Mr. Abo in an interview said the court ruling was the handiwork of desperate politicians who do not know when to give up, adding that the ruling had no basis and such should not be taken seriously. The lawmaker further stated that he would take the case to the Court of Appeal and called on his supporters to disregard the ruling. The state chapter of the party had in October expelled Mr. Abo over anti-party activities following his open criticism of the Muslim-Muslim ticket for the party's choice of presidential and vice presidential candidates. Still with the 2023 polls, the Nigerian police force has said it would work more on intelligence gathering towards security for the forthcoming 2023 general elections. The Assistant Inspector General of Police in charge of Zone 7, Kayode Egbetoku, made the revelation during his familiarization visit to the Federal Capital Territory Police Command yesterday. He noted that police officers are the strategic managers for the provision of adequate security for election. Egbetoku said the force is the lead agency in election security management as stipulated in the relevant sections of the Electoral Act 2020. He stated that modern policing is intelligence-led, community-based and technology-driven, adding that the force will work harder to ensure its intelligence capacity. President Muhammadu Buhari has given an assurance that he will reposition the nation's economy as well as improve on security across the nation before the end of his 8-year tenure. According to him, the gains recorded in security will be further consolidated and more attention will be given to the economy and security before handing over on May 29, 2023. President Buhari made this known yesterday while receiving executive members of the Catholic Bishops' Conference of Nigeria at the State House, Abuja. President Buhari, while commenting on the nation's economy, said creditors had full confidence in Nigeria with the capacity to utilize resources and repay loans before the approvals were granted. It said though the destruction of oil facilities slowed the generation of revenues, the government will be harder on saboteurs. Buhari added that the security situation had improved over the years, particularly in the northeast, where the focus had shifted to rebuilding infrastructure and reorientation on education. Nigerians have continued to face challenges as the country's fuel supply crisis shows no signs of abating. In this report, Olayinka Ale reveals how long queues have characterized the daily lives of many residents of Osun State, with others willing to pay high prices for petrol.
Ago, the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, NNPC, has blamed the fuel queues in the country on some ongoing construction projects which has caused diversion of vehicles. This is as the Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria, IPMAN, said the distribution crisis caused by vandalism of depot belonging to the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation Limited should be blamed for petrol scarcity in parts of the country. However, the scarcity of fuel is still on the high here in Osogbo, the Osun State capital, as motorists keep hustling for fuel. While some fuel stations like Mobile, NNPC, and few other private stations are locked up, two of NIPCO fuel stations in the Lameko and Ogolua axis were operating and selling fuel at the rate of 189 naira 50 kobo per litre, while private stations sold at the rate of 265 naira per litre. Olaide Adigun, a motorist on the long queue, stated that he chose to be on the queue because of the 189 naira 50 kobo per litre price, because he cannot afford to fuel his car at a high rate.
And I'm here purposely because of the price. So they are selling it at 189.5. That's why I'm here. So I know some others have, but we cannot afford to buy from other station with high price.
Samson Bamigbola, who has been on the queue for 2 hours, is so optimistic of getting fuel. Samson, however, said he is disappointed that the fuel attendant will give priority to people buying the keg as against him that came with a bike.
I've been here about 2 hours ago with the hope that I will get fuel. It's not been easy since I came here, and the queue is gradually moving. Though the fuel attendants, they are not doing well. The reason I said they are not doing well is that they are selling kegs. Mostly they base on keg, only few bikes and a few motor. That's what they are selling. That is the reason the queue is not that moving.
Pastor Shuyi Tawushe, who also has been on the queue since 7 a.m. in the morning, expressed his disappointment in the government, who he believes do not have the interest of citizens at heart.
Have you heard anything from government since the first scarcity begins? Over 2 months now. So I don't think we have government in this nation, for God's sake. Even the one we are queuing for is almost 200 naira. It's not a cheaper price money, but because he's the only one selling at a reduced cost, others are selling at 260, 270. That's why you see us queuing since morning. And now look at the process. Forget about government, my sister.
Olayinka Oyerunke stated that it has not been an easy experience, asking the government to come out and address the nation on this recurring issue of fuel scarcity.
It's a very straight question and very straight answer. It has not been an easy experience since last year that we've been on this fuel issue. I don't think the government has been fair at all. They have not been fair. They should just come out straight. If they really want to increase the fuel price, they should tell us and let us know where exactly we are going. This has not been an easy experience at all.
For Said Kushimo, buying at a high price was the best he could do because he cannot afford to join the long queue who sells at a lower rate.
If you want to buy, the one I bought now is just 260 per litre. 260 per litre, so I just get 200 naira on. Okay. Well, I can't queue on another station that is selling normal prices like 180. So, and I'm in a rush going to somewhere, so I don't have a choice more than to buy this at 260.
Anuoluwapo Adebola, who also bought fuel at the rate of 265 naira per litre, expressed her grievances by advising the government to find a lasting solution to the issue of fuel scarcity.
It's not okay at all since this scarcity has started, and I think the government should find a lasting solution to it, because some people will not be able to afford 260 right now, and I don't see myself queuing for a longer time. That's why I came here to buy 260, but everything is not working now, and the government should find a lasting solution to this. If they want to increase it, let us know, and if they want to remove the subsidy, they should do, rather than suffering the masses, putting us into torture. Is unfair.
It would be recalled that on the 27th of November 2022, the Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria, IPMAN, has attributed the current fuel scarcity to the unavailability of petroleum products and difficulty in accessing foreign exchange by marketers. Olainka Ali, Western Spring Television News.
You're watching Spring News at 12 on Western Spring Television. We will be right back after this break.
Turn it up! It's the Wild Wild West, and Western Spring Television is pulling out all the stops to make sure that you don't miss out on every of the fun and happenings around you. Yup, we've got you covered because your girl got all the juiciest tidbits and entertainment news from around the world. Cross over to the chocolatey side of entertainment. Join me, Chocolate Cassie, on Eccentric as we take you into every bit of the juiciest news, fashion, music, movie updates, and other trending conversations. Together on the show, we'll get personal with your favorite celebrities via phone call, Zoom, or even live here in the studio. Eccentric will be showing on your TV screen on Western Spring Television, channel 190, only on Star Times.
Welcome back. Moving on, the Ondo State High Court has ordered the State House of Assembly to reinstate Mr. Iroju Ogundeji as the Deputy Speaker of the Assembly. It will be recalled that the leadership of the House in 2020 removed Ogundeji as Deputy Speaker of the Assembly following its disagreement with the House leadership. After its removal, the Assembly later appointed Mr. Samuel Aderoboye as the Deputy Speaker. The latter was still occupying the position until the court's judgment yesterday. The embattled lawmaker had approached the court to challenge his removal. Delivering her judgment, the judge, Justice Adetan Osadebe, dismissed the removal of the plaintiff and nullified the action of the Assembly, describing it as illegal. In business, India High Commissioner to Nigeria, G. Balasubramanian, says more than 135 Indian companies have invested $19 billion in Nigeria. He said the investments were done in the last 4 decades of diplomatic relations between the two countries. The Indian High Commissioner, who spoke to the news agency of Nigeria in Abuja, describes the India-Nigeria bilateral relations to have been mutual. He said Nigeria's invitation as guest participant to the G20 summit scheduled for 2023 in India would form a unique opportunity to showcase the priority of developing countries to the world.
The cultural relations, the connect between our people is really good, and with your assistance, and I would certainly like to strengthen this thing. There are about 135 Indian companies which have invested about $19 billion in Nigeria over a period of years. It's not in 1 year, over a period of years, and most of them are in Lagos, but they are in every part of Nigeria. And they are in manufacturing, whether it is steel, oil and gas, or pharmaceuticals. $3 billion of that is only in pharmaceuticals which are being manufactured in Nigeria by Indian companies. So there's a strong relationship that we have in terms of drugs and pharmaceuticals as well as various other business activities. And in Nigeria is home to nearly about 60,000 Indians who have made Nigeria as their home, literally, for the past about 4 decades.
Barely 19 days before some Naira notes in Nigeria will be phased out to pave way for the use of only newly redesigned ones, some Nigerians still do not have access to the new notes. While the new Naira notes have become more available at this time, the level of circulation is still apparently low. Emmanuel Ojuadugele has the rest of the story.
Nearly a month after it officially began circulating, residents of Osogbo, the Osun State capital, like Agbola Omadayeshi, now have access to the new Naira notes via automated teller machines ATMs.
First thing I can notice is that the currencies are already been changed to a new currency, and I love it. It's a very good thing. So thank for the federal government for everything.
The cash withdrawal limit, so you're able to take more than 20,000?
Yes, as from today, at least I withdraw like 50,000 from the ATM. So
and they were all new.
Everything were all new. There were new notes.
This development comes a little over a day after the Central Bank of Nigeria (CBN), upon complaints by Nigerians, directed banks to load their ATMs with the new note to enable customers to have access to them even when banking halls are closed. Now, it is not just via the ATMs that the new Naira note can be gotten. Bank customers such as Ajibade Oduyele have also been able to get the note while making over-the-counter transactions, although the CBN has asked banks to stop this.
When I came to the bank last time, I withdrew from the bank counter. Among the currencies they gave me, new currencies are among.
Mr. Oduyele's experience is similar to that of Mrs. Olayemi Adetunji, with the difference being that she was greeted with reluctance to accept the note by traders.
I was able to be paid with the new currency note, 1,000 Naira, and I was glad because it's a very beautiful note, and I was able to spend it actually, and everybody that I gave to, they were excited, and maybe, but some people are saying that the new note is maybe, being printing on their fingers. They are afraid that maybe they will not be able to spend it. But I was glad to collect it, and I was able to spend it.
Despite this cheery development, some bank officials who spoke off record told Western Spring Television that the new Naira note, especially the 200 Naira note, were still not in full circulation as they did not have it. This appears to be true as some bank customers, including Zainab Adewoye, still could not see or get the new notes both over the counter or via ATMs 20 days before the old ones will be phased out.
I went to withdraw money over the counter. They gave me old notes.
Following the directive of the Central Bank of Nigeria, it appears as though banks in Osogbo, the Osun State capital, have begun to comply. A visit to automated teller machines, ATMs, show that the new Naira notes have been dispensed and customers can also access these new Naira notes over the counter. However, the issue of the scarcity of the 200 Naira new note must be addressed, as well as the apathy of some persons, including traders, towards the new notes. Emmanuel Ojuadugele, Western Spring Television News.
The Department of State Services, DSS, has arrested a chieftain of the Labour Party, Doyin Okukpe, at the Murtala Mohammed International Airport in Lagos. Okukpe was billed to fly to London via Virgin Atlantic before he was apprehended by the secret police. DSS spokesman Peter Afinaya said in a statement today that he was intercepted at the instance of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC. Afinaya also said the LP chieftain has been handed over to the anti-graft agency. Moving over to the foreign scene now, the army in Mali says 14 of its soldiers have been killed in two separate attacks in the center of the country where Islamist militants are known to operate. In both incidents, vehicles in which the troops were traveling were hit by roadside bombs. The army said it had deployed reinforcements following the attacks and had killed more than 30 militants. In the United States, President Joe Biden's aides have found a fresh batch of classified government records at a second location in a growing political embarrassment for the White House. The first cache was found at a private office in Washington, D.C. that Mr. Biden used after his vice presidency. The matter is under review by the U.S. Department of Justice. The original batch of about 10 documents was discovered in November at the Penn Biden Center. a think tank near the White House, but only came to light this week. Those papers reportedly include U.S. intelligence memos and briefing materials related to Ukraine, Iran, and the United Kingdom. Meanwhile, former President Donald Trump is facing a criminal investigation for allegedly mishandling classified files. To some sports stories, Graham Potter believes he has the hardest job in football as Chelsea labor to fully understand their new chapter since Todd Bowley bought the club. The team have struggled in the wake of being sold by Roman Abramovich, who brought unprecedented success during his nearly 2 decades in control. Chelsea are 10th in the Premier League despite having spent nearly £350 million since Bowley took control, with supporters singing the name of Abramovich and former head coach Thomas Tuchel during Sunday's 4-0 defeat at Manchester City in the FA Cup third round.
My thoughts are that you have to fix the team, and it's not just one person to solve your problems. I think you have to fix the team, you have to attack better, create more chances, and then I think whoever's playing there can score and the team can win. That's what we have to do. That's the focus. But clearly, Zhao's a top player. He's a talented player, and he can help the team.
Before we end the news, here is a recap of our top stories. The Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) says it is not contemplating any adjustment to the election timetable, let alone the postponement of the 2023 general election. President Muhammadu Buhari has given an assurance that he will reposition the nation's economy as well as improve on security across the nation before the end of his 8-year tenure. On the foreign scene, the army in Mali says 14 of its soldiers have been killed in 2 separate attacks in the center of the country where Islamist militants are known to operate. Remember that you can follow us on our social media handles on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Western Spring Television. You can also watch us live on our YouTube channel at Western Spring Television. That ends Spring News at 12 on Western Spring Television. I am Evelyn Ohiole. Many thanks for your time.